In Baltimore, the urgency mounts and expectations soar as Week 12 approaches, because after a tense week filled with uncertainty and consequences, the Ravens arrive on Sunday with a wave of good news that could change the team's outlook at a crucial point in the season. What began as a worrying list of 8 players absent from practice, including 6 starters, has dramatically changed, and now almost the entire roster is preparing to take the field against the New York Jets. For Ravens fans, this kind of turnaround at the end of the week transforms anxiety into anticipation. The big news, of course, is Lamar Jackson. After missing Wednesday's practice due to an ankle issue that caused immediate concern in Baltimore, he returned Thursday and Friday as a full participant, showing no signs of limitations and eventually coming off the final injured list. Coaches and teammates said Lamar seemed calm, confident, and fully focused, exactly what the Ravens need as they prepare to face the Jets' defense, known for causing chaos in the backfield. But Jackson isn't the only reinforcement returning at the right time. Inside linebacker Roquan Smith, who had been dealing with a hamstring injury, practiced without restrictions. Safety. Kyle Hamilton, recovering from shoulder and groin discomfort, also practiced at a normal pace. On the offensive line, both Ronnie Stanley, who missed previous practices due to illness, and Andrew Voorhees, who returned from a foot injury, participated normally. Add to that tight end Isaiah Likely, whose calf difficulties raised doubts mid-week, and suddenly the Ravens' starting lineup seems complete again. Friday's practice was intentionally light, meaning the injury report reflected the estimated activity. But even so, the Baltimore coaching staff made it clear. All 5 key players will be on the field on Sunday. However, not all the news was positive. Wide receiver Rashad Bateman was ruled out due to a second ankle injury, marking his consecutive game out of action. The coaching staff remains optimistic that he can return on Thanksgiving Day against the Bengals, but his absence continues to be a blow to Baltimore's passing squad. Cornerback Keon Martin is also out with a rib injury, an absence that could have been far more problematic if not for the timely return of another player from the secondary. That savior comes in the form of Marlon Humphrey. After undergoing minor surgery to insert a pin in a dislocated finger, Humphrey is set to return on Sunday. The veteran cornerback will resume his duties both on the sideline and in the slot, joining forces with Nate Wiggins and Chidobe Awuzie in a trio that the Ravens believe is capable of taking on any group of receivers in the league. Thus, Baltimore arrives on Sunday healthier than anyone expected. Stronger, with a more complete roster and with momentum growing. But although the ankle scare is over, Lamar Jackson still faced another problem that left fans apprehensive earlier in the week. And that brings us directly to our next important update, one that may be even more relevant to Baltimore's long-term hopes. Just days after the ankle injury dominated the headlines, Lamar Jackson found himself at the center of a second injury-related story, this time dealing with knee pain that arose after Baltimore's hard-fought 27-19 victory over the Minnesota Vikings in Week 10. Ravens fans are well aware of the tension that hangs in the air whenever Lamar appears on the injury list, and when he missed Wednesday's practice, alarm bells rang in Baltimore. On Thursday afternoon, Jackson returned to the practice field with his usual relaxed and confident demeanor, and the team breathed a sigh of relief. Fully participating, the Ravens starting quarterback said his knee is getting better and that there wasn't a single moment during the game against the Vikings where he felt anything was wrong. Playing football, things like that happen, he said, downplaying concerns with the calm and security that Baltimore fans already expect from him. Statistically, Lamar's record against Cleveland, Baltimore's opponent in Week 11, paints a picture of dominance. He has a 9-4 record against the Browns with 2,544 passing yards, the most against any NFL team, along with 22 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, and 6 rushing touchdowns. When asked if he expected even, though Isaiah increased the pressure knowing he was dealing with knee pain, Lamar simply smiled. "For me, it's all good. I have no problem with that. Let's see what happens." Although Jackson's return made headlines, he wasn't the only player whose situation drew attention. Wide receiver Rashad Bateman remained out due to an ankle injury, continuing a pattern of absences from practices that also kept him out against the Jets. Running back Justice Hill missed games due to a toe problem. Cornerback Marlon Humphrey was absent again while recovering from toe surgery, and linebacker Jay Higgins IV was out due to a knee problem. Both Humphrey and Higgins were ruled out for the game against the Browns. There were, however, positive developments in other areas. Tight end Isaiah Likely, who continues to deal with persistent hip pain, returned to practice normally. Dynamic running back Keaton Mitchell also practiced fully after suffering from knee swelling earlier in the week, and rookie safety Malachi Starks joined them, participating in all practices. A newcomer to the roster was rookie outside linebacker Mike Green, who had limited participation due to an ankle injury. Still, the central story remains Lamar Jackson, healthy enough to practice normally, confident enough to ignore the pressure from the defense, and determined enough to lead Baltimore through the toughest phase of the season. And with the Ravens recovering from injuries at just the right time, the pressure is mounting.